Wake up.
It's the Daily Grind
Daily Grind.
with SP and Legacy Jones.
What's up, everybody? It's Rob Sproul, aka SP. This is week 3 of the Daily Grind.
Trace. It's the kid, Marcus McLeod, aka Legacy Jones. Like he said, we're back at it again, third week.
And we got somebody special here tonight. Not that the first two weren't special, but I want to read off some information so we can make sure we get all of the accolades and information about this young man.
Talk about it.
Let me see.
This young man has top 10 ranked UKC American Bullies from 2014 to 2018, home of the first mother and son duo to be ranked in simultaneously top 10, and still the only kennel to have 4 generations consecutively to place in the UKC's world top 10 list. Currently ranked 3rd on the planet, and will be competing this year in UKC's premiere, which is where they only have the top 20 dogs in the world going head to head. Not to mention, this is an invite only. I need y'all to make some noise for Bully Hub's owner, Josh Smith, y'all.
Hey.
You like to roll out, man? You like to roll out?
Yes, sir. I
Accolades
appreciate
is
it.
there, man. Accolades is
Appreciate
there.
it.
Definitely there.
You working.
Definitely there,
Definitely
man.
been a long time coming. We've both known you for well north of 10 years, close
Yes, sir.
to it, man.
Yes, sir. Rocking it out.
Grinding.
Rocking
Well, let's
it
just
out.
get to it, man. I mean, obviously you deal with bullies, American
Sir.
bullies, and right here we have a puppy.
Yeah.
What's the puppy's name?
No name yet.
No
If
name
you guys
yet?
want to name it, you guys can name it if you want, but this is owned by Corey Vaughn. He just picked it up yesterday, came down to my veterinarian office and chose this big boy.
Oh, nice.
That's what's up.
How old is he?
He is 3 weeks now.
Okay.
Yeah. Very,
okay,
very
so the
fat
eyes are
little
still
boy.
closed, still baby.
Yes, sir. Super baby. He'll open them up sometime, maybe even today during the show. His brother's over there with his eyes open for us, so
Oh,
we'll see.
wow, dope. We're definitely gonna have to, after the show, we're gonna have to get some pictures.
Yeah, check them out.
Definitely swivel around and catch all, cause you brought a couple with you today.
Yeah, we only brought 7 with us today.
Only.
I brought a
Only 7.
customer. A customer came all the way from Kent, which is actually really close. We usually have guys from New York and Florida, all over the United States. But this guy's Washington State guy. Came in, picked up his puppy, and now we're down to 6. So
Ooh, okay. Well, man, I mean, what was your first dog, and how old were you when you got your first
my
dog?
first dog was a boxer. He was deaf, so I kind of fell for him. I'm like, I'm a softie. So my mom actually began raising and rescuing wolves when I was 15, and I hated it. I detested it.
Oh, wow.
I was the dog poop guy. I was the dog food guy. If there was a hole in the fence, I had to fix it. And that was me, and I didn't realize it was preparing me to get to where I was going to be when I was an adult,
For your love for the animals.
Yeah.
Definitely that.
So out of all the dogs out of all the dog breeds out there, what drew you to American Bullies the most?
The American Bully, they got their temperament from the English Bulldog.
Okay.
So they are very, very gentle. They're very docile, but they got their health from the American Pit Bull Terrier. So they're agile, they're active, and they can keep up with me and my lifestyle. So when I first got my American Bully from Adrian Barnes, he's a really good breeder, I know.
What's up, Adrian?
Hey, Adrian. And she actually was the first best in show American Bully on the entire West Coast. So at that moment, I was like, I might be onto something here, So her daughter is actually who gave us Rodeo, and this is Rodeo's son. So that's like 4 champion generations right there, So
In this one right here.
yeah, for sure. I'm loving it.
Gracious, man.
But it all started with Adrian. He plugged me.
Okay,
No
dope.
doubt. Shout out to Adrian. We know Adrian
Yes,
as
sir.
well. This is a 2-part question, because we've seen you doing a lot of traveling
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to the competition. What makes you pick the competitions that you decide to be a part of, and when it comes to being a part of this?
For me, I think what happened is my success in the UKC made me be loyal to the UKC. So there's dogs, American Bullies all over the United States, Italy, Canada. So the way I pick what shows we go to is who's gonna have more dogs there. If I can find a show with 20 dogs there, I get a point for every dog that I beat. So by the end of the year, we stack up all my points, how many points I got. So I'm at about 140 for my breed points or whatever. Then I beat 140 dogs. So, that's a general idea. So that's how you get top 10 points as well. So if I'm right now currently, I got 31. I got 31 points. I'm ranked number 3. So that means this year alone, I beat 31 American Bullies. And it's, what is it, April? No, it's April. Yeah. Love it. Yes. So since January.
Wow, that's amazing. The second part of that question, because I didn't get that one off, and that's my apologies. But is there a competition you haven't competed in that you're looking forward to being a part of?
Yeah, I think the UKC Premier is definitely it, because that is all the top 10. I could see a poodle, and I know that's one of the best in the world. I can see a dachshund, and I know that's the best one in the world, So it's interesting not only to be around the dogs, but the people, So now we're having conversations about dietary needs and, maybe even travel needs. And, some people might have plugs on hotels because you're a dog shower. So it's great to talk and conversate with these people and really rub shoulders with the best of the best.
Now, piggybacking off of what he asked, my question is, is the competition stiff? Because it seems like you're always taking home the dub, man.
Listen. The competition is stiff. There is great dogs out there, and 9 times out of 10, I'm never sure I'm coming home with the ribbon.
Okay.
And it wouldn't mean as much to me if I went out there and I was like, I just took these home. But it's real work, and almost 9 times out of 10, I can name another dog that could get it before me. Like, oof.
So you see somebody show up and
yeah,
you're just
like,
oh, there goes Jimmy with his dog Kimbo Slice ready to.
And when Kimbo gets in the ring and I know I got it, like, okay, phew, that was close.
No doubt.
Yeah.
That's what's up. What's the process of picking a dog that
Picking
you
a
want?
dog.
Because you have lots of dogs, I'm assuming.
Yeah, for sure. I look for what dog fits the conformation standard. So there's actually a written page that shows what your dog's head should look like, what his teeth should be like, what his tail should be like, what his head should be like. So every breed has that, whether it's a poodle, whether it's a Dalmatian. So I look at the American Bully standard and I decide what dog of mine fits that standard the best, and that's the one that we'll focus on showing at the time.
Okay. Now my question, if someone is looking to purchase an American Bully from you, do you sell to just anyone?
No. I actually do a rigorous vetting process where we know who you are. 9 times out of 10, people who spend that kind of money on dogs are longtime followers, people who I've spoken with for years, and that's who I tend to sell most of my dogs to, people who I feel like I have an intimate relationship, even though we've never met, and they live in North Carolina, South Carolina. So it's pretty nice.
About building that relationship prior to and making sure that.
I mean, that's key because, one guy could be at work and have an issue at home. He might have to call you, and since you guys are Bully Hub, we can be there for him, So we like that.
Okay.
We like that family.
So y'all take care of the dog even after it's already sold?
Yes, sir. That's key because I think placement is key. If a customer called me and said they have a problem with their dog and they need help with it, I'm there 100%. Whether it's financially, whether it's training, whether it's just educational, whatever I can do.
And that's dope.
Yeah, it's like a hotline right there.
Like for real.
And that
24/7.
attachment of
Bully
knowing.
Hub
Yeah, because
hotline.
it's more than a sale. Then instead of feeling like you sold the dog, it's a done deal. That's your situation.
Yeah,
now.
never. I've sold dogs. I sold a dog to Arizona. 3 months later, it passed away. But we have a guarantee, even though it wasn't any fault of anybody's. We brought him another dog. We wanted him to be happy, and no cost of his. We just made it happen.
Because those things happen.
And we want people to be happy. We don't want there to be any confusion about anything. So we're, that's the best way to be.
Okay. We got another 2-part question for you. How long does it take for a dog to be show ready, and what kind of activities do you do with them to get them to that point?
I think for a dog to show, it has to have a good temperament. It has to want to play, have a little bit of a drive to it. If your dog is really, frumpy and lazy, it might not do well in the show ring. And that's just because it takes a lot of work to stretch your stuff around the ring, 5-6 times a day in the heat, especially. So,
Right.
I think it's just hard work, and some dogs have it, some dogs don't.
And you know that just off of.
I think I play with the dog. If the dog will play with me, I can tell by the way it will present itself to me. Some dogs, they'll carry their ears low. I think I can read a dog pretty well, and and that comes with just all the handling, all the training that I've done. Yeah, for sure. So,
I get that.
yeah, I love it.
All right, so a big one. How do you come up with the pricing for puppies?
Pricing is difficult. If I have a longtime friend who's really interested, longtime family member, like those longtime followers, I always give them, I don't want to say a deal, but a welcome home price, you know, because we've always been talking about it. We've always been working together. So finally you made the decision. It's a huge decision to spend that kind of money on a pet, you know, and then, you know, you're not really buying a puppy. You're buying nights of dog poop and training and dog shows and, you know, maybe a landlord who is uppity. You know, there's things that come with this. It's a huge responsibility. So when someone makes that decision to jump like that, then I'm with them and I want to support them and just help them be as educated as possible when they do that.
So you feel obligated once they make the purchase to follow up with them, or is it something that you feel like they should be doing and just leaving that door open for them to take care of?
Yes, I want them to be comfortable, because if I'm in their inbox like, hey, how's the dog? Hey, how's the dog? Then it might get a little strange. But if they're open with me, if they're sending me pics, if I follow them, they follow me, then, you know, we generally find our good median space, you know.
No doubt. I see that you're working at a vet clinic now.
Yes, sir.
So congratulations
Yes, sir.
on that.
Thank you.
Dream
come true.
Do you have plans on opening up your own clinic in the near future, or?
You know, I actually really like my clinic where I'm at, and if I could just grow old there, that'd be dope.
That's what's up.
That'd be dope. Like, I really found a nice little family. It's nice.
That's it.
I recommend everyone go to TLC Veterinary Clinic. Please take your animals there.
Plug.
mean, you know, even for just a cookie, they don't have to be sick.
We came by for the cookies for the dog because Josh said it was cool.
Now, people get the misconception that American bullies are bad dogs. Is it because of their bloodline, or how it's based that the people give that they get? Go back. Now, people get the misconception that American bullies are bad dogs. Is it because of their bloodline or how they are raised that gives people that misconception? Damn it! All right, now people get the misconception that American bullies are bad dogs. Is it because of their bloodline or how they are raised that people give them that misconception?
Well, the American Bully came from the American Pit Bull Terrier. So that dog was raised to be a game dog. They can do anything from hunting. A lot of people use them for fighting. You know, it's part of history. No one likes to talk about it, but it's the truth. So people use that connotation of the pit bull and link them to the American Bully because that's our ancestor. But yeah, definitely not. It's the opposite for sure.
Okay, good stuff. I'm glad to know that, because when people talk about when people talk about pit bulls, man, they automatically get that misconception that it's a dangerous breed, it's a dangerous dog, and it's good to know that that's not always the case.
It's not always the case, and the thing about the American Pit Bull Terrier is it's high energy, it's high drive. So if that dog is just in an apartment all the time, it's going to have antsiness. It's going to feel like I want to get out, and you'll be able to read that and tell it about your dog, and other people can too. So when you get to the dog park and it's the first time in this week, your dog is so excited, and it can be dangerous to other dogs just because they're fast, they're strong, they're tough, you know. So it comes with the territory of having a high energy, high drive dog. And the Akitas are like that. A lot of snow breed dogs are like that, but you know, they work every day. You know, you wouldn't know.
And they need to be able to burn that energy
They
off.
need to be able to burn it off.
So with all the dog shows that you've entered, and I know it's very competitive, can people sabotage you at a show? And if so, like, how would someone go about doing so? And have you heard any stories?
You know,
or been a part of?
Some people will bring a dog in heat, and I mean, that's not sabotaging at all, but my dogs, they don't pay attention anymore. They're like, yo, where is she at? Where is she at? So, you know, it's hard to get their little attention after that, but sabotaging a show, I don't really think that you could, because the judges are really, really good. The judges are trained. They've been doing it for 100 years, and, you know, this is their specialty.
Not to cut you, but when you say a dog in heat, so they bring the extra dog in heat to be a distraction?
They will bring a female to show right in front of my dog, and just hope that my dog behaves. And you know, okay, get your points for your female, but I'm gonna win. So
You're still
you
getting
brought
that
her for
Uber
nothing. But
For real. Have you ever had a situation where your dog did not want to cooperate during a performance?
absolutely, absolutely. Energy level is everything. If your dog is not in the mood, if your dog has had, just a bad experience in the ring, that could affect it. If your dog just isn't feeling well, didn't eat right, I've had dogs poop in the ring, pee in the ring, and get right back to the regular, program.
You lose point. Do dogs lose points in that process?
No, I think the dog is judged as a total dog, so they want to see the dog's top line, the dog's rear end, the dog's hocks, the dog's fronts. They want to see the dog how it's built.
Right.
If we had a Lego building contest to build a building, we would look at everyone's building and say who did the best job at building a building.
Right.
And it might be that kid, it might be that kid, it might be that kid. We all take the risk and we all present our building. If it's built incorrectly or not up to the judge's standard, then that's how we pick the winner. Like you're the best one. You might not be the best one in the world, but you're the best one here today, sir.
But also, if that building falls, that takes away. That's what I think that he was
Sure.
trying to imply.
Sure.
Like, because in my opinion, if I'm a judge and I'm seeing the dog and he's like, oh, he's doing good. Next thing you know, he just drops one right in the middle of the floor. It's like, oh.
Yeah,
All
you're
right.
definitely not prepared, sir.
Yeah. Like,
But,
you know what I mean?
but a lot of guys, me included, will like to feed our dog in the morning. We learn not to do that now. Don't feed your dog right before a dog show because they get nervous and then, naturally 20 to an hour later, it's going to drop that. So I feed my dog really, really well the full week before, the day before. But in the morning, because you only have to feed your dog once a day, I tend to do a little more than that, but it's okay. But you just wait till after the show to feed your dog.
Man,
It's not a big deal.
we see all of these ribbons up here, man.
I got a few ribbons.
A few.
Yeah, I got a few ribbons.
Hey, look. We only put a few on the table. Like,
Go ahead, flex on them right quick, bro.
Can we
Flex on 'em
can we
right
act like we in the strip club and you just go ahead and
Hold on, wait. I got one more here. Look, does that count? Is that good? No.
no. I need you to go ahead. Look. See, this is how real it gets. This is and these are from just this year, correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, numerous dogs or one?
Just one dog, our grand champion rodeo, and this is what you want. This is the coup de grace, multi-best in breed. Okay, you want the best in breed in a multi-breed show, and then that means you beat every poodle, every donkey.
This is like the dog belt.
Yeah,
like,
that's the championship
The
belt,
championship
sir.
belt.
I love it.
And this is from just this year. This is amazing, man. From one
Yes, sir.
dog, man.
It's hard to keep track of all the ribbons, and a lot of times they'll get ruined because they're really fragile. So, we got boxes and boxes of them that just didn't keep as well. So we just brought this year's.
And what's the dog's name that won all of these?
Grand champion Romeo.
Romeo.
I call him Rodeo though because he's fun.
Man,
All one.
what kind of rewards is Romeo getting after snatching up this amongst
You know what?
all the good?
One of our best awards that we got was a leather leash that we got from this last April's club. It's reserved best in show because there was a better poodle there. We like that poodle. So he won this, and we really like it. I don't think we're ever gonna take it out of the wrapper. We're gonna keep it on the shelf somewhere.
So nobody's ever wearing that one.
Yes, no, it won't be worn. And right here, we have year in bash, best of breed American Bully. And we just like to brag about it a little bit. Our dogs earned it.
This
so.
is more than bragging, bro.
That's definitely.
Like, there's-
What is it specifically that you're giving rodeo as far as like a treat? Like these are what rodeo wins, but
Yes.
what do you reward? Rodeo getting a steak dinner?
He
or
gets
what kind of-
wapa I get 9 times out of 10. I'll go right into Denny's right after the dog show and say, hey, this is Rodeo. He just won the show. Get him some food. So, yep.
He eating better than some people out there. You hear
Yes,
that?
sir. Yes, sir. Better than me 9 times out of 10 for sure.
Well, shoot, he's the bread and butter. I
He's the
suggest
bread
he
and
does.
butter.
I'm saying though. Well, that's about to wrap up this segment of our interview, but we're gonna get into some more in-depth stuff.
Very
So
nice.
we'll take a moment of your time. So please pay attention.
Pay
Talk
attention.
That Talk is coming next.
Sir.
Talk That Talk,
with Marcus McLeod.
aka Legacy Jones.
All right, y'all. Now, this is the part of the show we have our Talk That Talk segment where we ask anything and everything. Nothing goes unanswered. Are you ready?
I don't know.
Yeah, we about to get into it, man. You got,
Let's get
nothing
to it,
goes
Legacy.
unanswered. Being the dog lover that you are, what would one of your dogs have to do for someone to feel like they need to be put down?
Ooh. you know, I'm a vet assistant, so we stop people from putting their dogs and cats down all the time. There's always something else that we can do, but I really think that it's got to just be better for the dog. You know, I don't think that anything could make my decision besides it really being better for the dog, and that happens. You know, being a good dog owner, you have to think about that and accept that.
A judgment call.
Judgment. Yes, sir.
That's a hard one to swallow, especially if it's one of your faves.
Oh yeah, and they're always going to be one of your faves. You know, I'm still new in the game. I only started this 2014, so I haven't had the heartbreak of that yet. So
2014 and already busting ass, man.
oh yeah, yes, sir,
Yeesh.
making it happen.
This is just this year. This is from
This is
January
new
to
money.
April, so
Yeah.
we're talking
It's-
4 month span.
Ain't even hit the bank yet.
Oh,
You
man.
know.
Yeesh.
Okay, I got one for you.
All right.
So if someone was to purchase a puppy from you, we spoke kind of on this earlier, and decided after a couple of months they didn't want to keep it, wasn't for them. You give them their money back?
It depends on the breeding. It depends on the contract. It depends on our relationship. Because if usually my contract won't specify that, just to be honest. We cover all genetic, we cover all health. If I sell you a dog where you don't like it or there's vet issues like that, then of course we cover that. We replace your dog, and 9 times out of 10, you as a customer won't want that because you fell in love over the past 3 months.
Right.
So if you just genuinely just don't like the dog, I think it's more than just the dog that you got to worry about.
I feel you on that.
Yeah. Because you spent a lot of money on the dog, so you were sure, you thought about it. It was if it was a splurge buy for you, then I probably didn't sell you the dog, you know. So if me and you made a deal all the way till you have the puppy in your hand, then I'm pretty sure it's a good marriage.
Okay. Have you ever had a mishap with any transaction, whether it wasn't paid in full or the dog wasn't treated properly?
Absolutely. I think that's something we all go through as new breeders to the game. Giving dogs to people after they just made a couple payments and expecting that they'll be honest.
Right.
Not having foolproof contracts. There's a lot of ways that I've been burnt and had to just chalk it up as a loss.
So you're not repoing puppies out here?
No. You know, 9 times out of 10, I'm okay with that loss, but I'll take it as a lesson. You
Right.
know, and know that I got a good dog out there. Sometimes those dogs disappear and are sold to someone in Oregon and a family friend. And if they're really doing that much work to dodge me or whatever, then they deserve the dog. They're doing a lot of work.
Yeah, that's
So-
a job in itself.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So if they don't want to do business with me anymore, then we can totally agree and shake hands. And you know, and 9 times out of 10, I'm the one getting burnt because I lost the $20,000 dog over it. You know.
Right.
So.
Well, speaking of that, if you found out someone purchased the dog from you, was using the dog in dog fights,
Oh.
what would you do?
You're repoing puppies.
Nah, I'm repoing that person, man. That's like a capital sin, you know. And the poor thing about it is they really do fight dogs sometimes. You know,
Right.
I personally have never met anyone who has seen it or have gone through it or met people that done it, but you know, I imagine it exists because we hear stories about it. But if I ever met somebody that did that, especially with one of my dogs, we'd have problems. I probably wouldn't have dogs anymore.
I feel you. Yeesh. All right, now, so boom, we were just talking about a minute ago. I'm pretty sure you said that one of your puppies had gotten stolen before.
Yes, sir.
Talk to
I
us about
had
that.
a puppy that looked pretty much like this guy. He was about 6 weeks old, and I went and took him. Yeah, I'm talking about.
I love how he sits up. He's like,
I gotta hear this. Hold up.
I was talking about
we got
you.
rodeo in the building.
Rodeo, round of applause. Good boy. So I had a friend watching for me. I went to a dog show, came back to town and couldn't find Rodeo, couldn't find my friend. And I travel a ton, you know, so I was set to travel again like 3 days later. They knew that, so I kind of had to take it as one of those situations, like it was an L. I moved back to Washington State 2 years later, which is about 8 months ago now. And I heard tell of a beautiful dog in the neighborhood. So after a couple of knock-knocks and, you know, reminding that, hey, I'm in town now, and
A little flexing.
a little bit of flexing, I got a phone call that said, hey, please come pick your dog up, bro. So I went and picked him up, and I was so impressed when I saw him. I knew that putting his parents together, he was only 6 weeks old, you know.
Yeah.
And I always thought, man, that breeding would have been wonderful, you know. So, roll. No. All right, he's out of here.
Enough stunting.
Yeah, he's out of here. So, yeah, when I saw him, I fell in love. I couldn't wait to take him to a dog show. And I was validated when I took him there, and he championed out the very next weekend after I got him back. Very next weekend, he was a champion. He went on the world top 10 list by the very next show. And I think I'm showing him so hard right now to kind of wave it in the face of the people who, you know.
Oh yeah, I believe it.
Didn't know what they had.
They had
and
no
because of
idea
that,
what they had. No idea. And that was the most disappointing part is to them it's just a dog, but I knew it was like dreams and goals and dog shows and so much that went into producing that dog, you know. They were just going to feed it regular old Roy and keep it in the backyard. So he's slowly turning into the star that he was supposed to have been the whole time. And, you know, the world loves him. So
That's what's up. That's definitely what's up.
That's what's up, man. Well, definitely want to thank Josh for coming through.
Boom. Bully Hub.
Definitely
Bully Hub.
Let us know where they can find you at, man.
You can find me at the Bully Hub on Instagram. And Josh Smith at the Bully Hub on Facebook as well. You can find me online. You can find me in your mom's DMs. No, I obviously got nervous, guys, so you can start that over if you want. But
No, but on the real though, a lot of people have been inquiring about purchasing, potentially purchasing and stuff, and they had questions for me. So
Absolutely.
I'm hoping that he was able to answer a lot of the questions that you guys may have had. And if you're looking to really be a serious purchaser, this is definitely the guy.
family member. You won't be a purchaser. You'll be a new family member.
New family member. There we
Absolutely.
Definitely be about your business as well.
Yes, sir.
go. Well, again, we want to thank Josh Smith.
Thank you so much for
the
having
owner of
us,
the Bully
guys.
Hub. As we got, doesn't have a name yet. We just know at the end it's 14K.
You know.
14K puppy in the building,
You
guys.
know, we had Romeo up here with all Romeo's
Yeah.
winnings,
You know,
I'm stunned a little bit.
just flexing.
Yes, sir.
and it's a family thing. Josh
Family
Smith,
thing.
y'all.
Absolutely.
Rob Sproul,
Legacy Jones.
The Daily Grind.
Have a good day.
Have you heard?
Have you heard?
Have you heard?
That's right. What would a show be without entertainment talk? Keeping you updated with all the latest news and gossip happening with some of your favorite celebrities.
Local and headlining news.
This week in Have You Heard? During the 1980s, Bill Cosby was the world's highest paid entertainer and known as America's dad for his role in The Cosby Show. Decades later, Cosby's net worth is still estimated at $400 million. Cosby, who is now 80 years old, was found guilty of 3 counts of aggravated indecent assault. Crazy, right?
Yeah.
He left court after posting a $1 million bond, but faces a maximum of 30 years in a state prison. What are your thoughts?
They trying to bury that man. They're trying to bury him, and that's like I'm trying not to be that guy, but I have to be sensitive to the women, because if it truly went down like that, then that's a very sick act. But at the end of the day, this man, why wait so long? That's my thing. Like, bro, he's damn near in the dirt already.
We're talking because the women waited so long?
Yeah. Like, what's your point in waiting until, like, literally, they said that was, like, how many years ago? A long time
Like
ago.
30 years ago.
Yeah, bro. Like, what solid, concrete evidence can you get from it?
What I was hearing, or what I was reading, more or less, they were saying that the women felt like they didn't have enough ground to stand on, and it was one of those deals you're dealing with somebody that has so much money and in a position of power that he seemed like he was untouchable.
But at the end of the day, so you wait till he's withering away to say, okay, well, he isn't. Just like you just said, his net worth is still $400 million. What makes you think that his money and that his power still can't trump that? Just so happens that it's not working. And then my thing is, if you close the case, what was the point in bringing it back up? That's my only thing.
It was a retrial. That ended up happening through that process where you had other women that were coming forward and speaking up. And I mean, once you become so disruptive to the point where you're having not just 1, 2, 3 women, we're talking, dozens of women that feel like Bill did the same thing to them. which started a movement, I believe, called the Me Too movement.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, where other women were getting involved, saying, let's not allow things like this to happen, no matter who the person is.
I just look at that situation as it's crazy because, like I said, I'm not condoning the actions at all.
Right.
Because it's either way it goes, rape is rape, no ifs, ands, or buts about it, whatever the case may be. But when you look at it like that, you got to also think of the perception of, at the end of the day, this is somebody who 30 years ago had allegedly, or if they, because like I said, I haven't seen anything about concrete evidence. And 30 years later, what evidence can you get? You can't get DNA. You can't get it's pretty much all he say, she say at that point. But it's the fact, just like you said, it's the fact that so many people are speaking up that it's becoming a thing. And that's and that's another thing that bugs me. It's like one person, like I could see if it's like two people at the same time, like, yeah, if I'm gonna get in contact with you, you get in contact with me. Oh yeah, he did this to me too. We're both gonna say something at the same time. No, you got one person that says something. The next thing you know, everybody in the woodworks is coming out saying the same thing. We've noticed that within the past 2 years. The Usher situation,
right.
Bill Cosby, Kevin Spacey, all these people are sitting here with this situation of, like the Me Too Act. Like it's something that kills me on the low. Like I said, I'm not trying
Why
to.
is that?
I don't know, because like when you look at it, like when people are coming from out of the woodworks, I feel like y'all should have been said that. Like I said, y'all should have been got together as a collective and been like, because I guarantee you half of these women probably know of each other. If they don't know each other directly, they know of each other. Like, you know what I mean? Because if he was back in the day kicking it at the Playboy Mansion, the majority of them women were probably there in the same time, in the same day and age.
I'm sure back then they were also having them sign those waiver forms on what happens in here
Stays in here. Which they probably still are, still to this day.
No, and I definitely agree with you from that standpoint. One of the biggest things that I've had a conversation about Bill Cosby was people wondering, like, because it's Bill, should there be more compassion based on who he is and what his legacy
That's
is.
Mr. Huxtable.
And that's the soft sell, but at the end of the day, like you said, rape is rape.
True.
So there's no way to really water that situation down.
It isn't. That's why I said it's a very fickle, it's a very finicky situation, because you can't really deep dive into it without getting somebody's feathers ruffled, without, like, it's the same thing about going into the situation as of like race.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? It's one of those conversations where you can't really bring it up without somebody being like, oh, it's because he's black, or oh, it's this, that, and the third. Because then you'll have some people that'll put that idea in the air that, oh, because he was about to buy out NBC, he was about to buy NBC.
And I remember hearing about that. That was something I wanted to touch on, but I felt like I didn't have enough information.
I don't either, but I just look at it. It's just off the top of my head. It's just like the timing couldn't be.
And I felt the same way for all of these things coming up simultaneously.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we're not gonna let Bill buy the station, or find a way of being able to be on the same playing field to offer more minorities these type of opportunities. Yeah. So they found another way of shutting that situation
you're gonna
down,
sabotage the person. Because if you want to, I can't remember the exact phrasing or the quote, but it's like, if somebody's in a position of power, or they're trying to get into a position of power, you're going to take them down and knock them down a peg. Bring up whatever you can to possibly take them away from that. Yeah.
One of the things that he has coming up in the summertime, they're talking about is a civil suit against him. He has a few of those. Back in 1974, a woman by the name of Judith Huth said when she was 14 years old, Bill Cosby gave her alcohol and molested her at the Playboy Mansion.
What were you doing at 14 at the Playboy Mansion in the first place?
Well, let's think about who owned the Playboy Mansion.
Don't get me wrong, Hugh Hef is still that guy. Rest in peace to him. He was still that guy, but
he was also known for having young women around.
14-year-olds though.
He was like 80 dealing with 19-year-olds. So, I mean, I kind of question that situation and what went under the table without people really seeing the real truths to.
And we'll never know, because we weren't there. So, but it's
and rest in peace to him. So
yeah. So
that's
those are
information
truths that are never going to be given
never
out.
gonna
But
surface.
at the end of the day, it's still a shaky situation. The fact to think that 14-year-olds were just parlaying for possibly 14 to 16, possibly parlaying in the Playboy Mansion of all in the grotto.
What happened to grotto? Look, they have 2 women. We're not trying to make fun of this situation. We're just pointing out facts that are arising through this process. Another woman was drugged that's looking to get that has a lawsuit filed against him, which is going to be under the same time frame, which will be the summer. Accusations or
Her too, huh?
her too, but she said it happened at the Playboy Mansion.
And then, like I said, like we both said, there's so much that probably went down behind those walls that nobody knows about. Who's to say that just because, I guarantee you, because there's been numerous of celebrities from old and new that have ran through the Playboy Mansion. Because they say, what happens in the grotto stays in the grotto. Right. Same thing with the house. And I guarantee you, these aren't the only situations that have occurred. These are just the only ones that are just popped up.
Oh, I agree with that. I agree with that. Well, we want to know what your thoughts are when it comes down to this Bill Cosby deal. He's going away. He's going to serve some sort of time. He's 80. You know,
They trying to bury that man in the jail cell, man.
definitely that
But
one.
definitely comment, subscribe, hit that bell so you can be notified the next time we post up a video.
Let us know your thoughts.
This week in the world of entertainment
And music.
After numerous months of people screaming out free Meek, the people have spoken, the courts have spoken, Meek Mill is finally free. After serving 5 months in jail for his probation violation, in 2008 his probation stemmed from drug and gun conviction, which he served 8 months for. He had been in and out for a probation violation, but the city prosecutor did not recommend imprisonment. He had been clean from drugs and showing personal growth. A 10-year probation sentence. This makes it nearly impossible to get tossed in prison. Under the law, a simple jaywalking ticket could get him thrown back in. What's happening to Meek is just one example of how our criminal justice system entraps and harasses thousands of black people every day. One of Mill's lawyers claimed the judge had a personal vendetta against him. What do you think about that, bro?
She did. I mean, she made that very clear with some information that they were speaking on about her wanting to work out a deal to the point where he wrote music that incorporated her name. Like,
I feel like you're digging for stuff now. She's digging for stuff because I saw literally, and this has been a while. He just got freed. What was it, last week?
Yeah, last
and was
week.
at like literally left jail and went to a Sixers game, which they had won, by the way. And it's just, it looks crazy because I saw something 2 days ago where they talking about the judge is still not gonna let this go, let the case go.
I think that because of the other people that are getting involved in regards to knowing where she stands, and this is becoming more of a personal issue, more so than anything else, that it's not gonna stick.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why he's out now, is based on that information and them feeling like the reason why he was in for so long doesn't make sense.
And this is a black lady. This is a middle-aged black lady that's literally trying to shut him in and I feel like the situation made it so bad is because literally just like it said, a simple jaywalking ticket could have sent him back to jail. When have you ever heard of a jaywalking ticket sending somebody up as a probation violation?
Not just that, probation for 10 years?
That's like, that right there is literally sitting there saying, bro, if you blink wrong, you're going to jail.
That's definitely what
10
it's
years
saying.
is a long time to be on probation. You know what I mean?
You have to walk that fine line. And for somebody that was clean and not having any dirty UAs and dealing with the process the way that they're supposed to, and then you find something minor to chase behind this person on,
Yeah.
and try to throw the book at them.
Because I honestly feel if the prosecutor was sitting here not asking for imprisonment, then what was the point? Even though we all know the judge has the final say so, but come on, man, you're bugging. Like, you're doing the absolute most to, what she's trying to do is make an example.
Of course, but she also has to look at it from this standpoint. Meek is a public figure and has that type of power where he has money to play that game. Now imagine if it was like someone like yourself or myself in that same situation, this would be water under the bridge and it will get slept on. But because of who he is, it's definitely garnered a lot of attention, and they're trying to shed light on this and show that the judicial system isn't always on point.
Because you've definitely had numerous artists, politicians, a lot of people of the city of Philadelphia speaking out for this man. Like, yo, what they're doing is wrong, and they know it's wrong, but they don't care. It's just like they want to, like I said, they're trying to make an example, but this isn't the example that you're trying to make, like that you shouldn't be trying to make. Because at the end of the day, don't get me wrong, the offenses were all like from the guns and drug charges, by all means. But at the end of the day, if you did your due diligence and served your time, you know what I mean, then there should be no reason why they should still hold you for everything that you've done.
Sometimes people don't want to see you change
At all.
and they won't allow that in their minds. They put that in their minds that you're not going to be anything else aside from what I want to see you as.
Now, do you think the album, I forgot, Wins and Losses, I think his last album, you think all that money's gone?
Nah,
Through lawyer fees and everything? I'm pretty...
Well, let's think about record sales. That's not even a focus anymore. It's about show money. Meek is an artist of higher stature that gets 80 to 100,000 a show.
But on these big like probation violation charges, like you really, even though they probably put clauses, his lawyers probably tried to fight for clauses so he could travel and make his money, but like you're not in control of every situation that happens at these shows. As me being an artist and you being a promoter and as well as an artist, before you know that half of the time, some things you just can't control what goes on at a show. So now they're automatically gonna look at you because you were there. They're gonna tie you into that. Say somebody gets shot at a Meek Mill show.
Right.
They're automatically going to tie you into that situation. Oh, they probably ran with them. They probably did this. Just some stupid crap.
I feel like that's what the media does anyways, though, when you look at hip-hop in general. That's the stigma that comes with the music. You know what I mean? And for him, he can't be at fault for something
that had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, those type of things happen all the time. For him, though, the standout is the fact that he already has trouble that he's dealing with.
Yeah.
So they're definitely going to try to find a way of attaching the new situations to where he is at now, and not allowing him to grow. And
if you're looking at it, they're going back to those days of trying to attach people's music and the lyrics that they speak on,
of course,
to the crimes and whatnot. And I feel like that was something that they used to do a long time ago, and it died away, but now it's starting to be brought back, and it's starting to affect a lot of people.
I don't think it died away. I think that people are using it now because of the positions that these artists are in. So they'll go back and resurface like, oh, this is what you were thinking, or this is what that person was saying that has no relevancy to their court case. It's just, this is where that person is now, and it's about growth, and they're speaking on in most cases past situations that they dealt with to put them in the position that they're in now. But the judge wanted him to write a song and add her name in it.
For what? What do you gain out of that?
Go judge.
Like you're stupid. You gain literally nothing out of that though. So you're asking for dumb crap that has nothing to do with your seat of where you're at in life,
right,
on the panel or whatever. It doesn't matter. Like, why should I take the time out of my day when I have better things to write about, when I have money to make, when I have features to do? Why should I take 30 seconds out of my time to put you in a bar? For what?
Yeah, who cares? At the end of the day, Meek's free. He's out on bail right now. Hopefully he's able to get through this case, and it'll shed light on the judicial system making mistakes and how to be able to move forward from those situations. Let us know what you think.
That next album or mixtape's gonna be fire.
We already know the next music coming from him is definitely gonna be fire. So.
Yeah, man.
Leave a comment below.
Hit that bell.
You know what time it is. We want to thank Josh Smith, the owner of Bully Hub, for coming out, showing us what it is when it comes to these competitions with the American Bullies.
Flexing with the ribbons.
Flexing
all
hard.
70 of them.
Man.
Probably more. Who knows? But definitely want to thank our sponsors at T Brothers.
Shout out T Brothers.
Yeah, man. And I am Legacy Jones.
I am Rob Sproul, a.k.a. SP.
Make sure you tune in next week. The show doesn't stop.
The daily grind, baby.
Boom.
If you gonna get it, then go get the daily grind. This is where the hustle never stops. The daily grind. Focus, watch me make it out of nothing. The daily grind. Keep pursuing, rise with me to the top. The daily grind.
Wake up.
It's the Daily Grind. With SP and Legacy Jones.